Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Take 3. Actually, this is like take 4 for me. A couple of mine didn't even show up. Alright, let me know. Do we have audio? Do we have audio today? Everyone who's hopping in. Is there any audio to be had in this new stream? I see Ben in there. There's sound. I hear Dorian saying that there is sound. Let me get a confirmation from at least one other person before I get too far back into what I was doing before I go 20 minutes into my segment. Alright, we've got sound from Dorian Dayton. Okay. Dorian is a reliable source. Right, Mr. Dorian? We've got sound from Ben. We've got sound from New Minds Enrichment. I think we've got sound on everyone else. Take 4 is working. Take 4 is working. Okay, fantastic. All right, now I'm going to try to throw in some music. So let me know if this messes it up. This is a total work in progress, as you all can tell, with 4 takes. So tell me, is the music in? Can you hear me over it? Let me know if that balance is okay. Let me know if that ever changes. Sound is good. Mita, thank you for hopping in. I hope you've checked out some of the other videos. Awesome, awesome, awesome. People are flying in here now. Okay, we are checking out a new interactive roleplay quest. It's actually live. It's actually working. We are here. You can see the title behind me, Into the Dungeonverse. The quest begins. You will all be going on an interactive story with me today. All you'll need is pencil and paper. But if you are like running low on that because everyone is using pencil and paper for their stuff, you can even just use your mind as long as you have a good memory. Or you can use a Google Doc. Whatever you want, whatever you have access to. You could have it right up next to my video. But what's going to happen is I'm going to tell a story here at home, and you are going to participate, following along, telling me what the main character actions are, telling me what the players are doing, it's actually telling yourself, because you don't even have to share it with me. This is a story that you can participate on your own. You can follow it live. You can go back and watch it after it's aired, so no worries at all. I see Walter coming in. All right, we got a video that's going to pop into the comments. Hey, everyone hopping in. We are just about to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the rules, but the rules aren't that nitty and they aren't that gritty because we are actually going to be making them up as we go. Everyone has different materials at home. Some people have all of the D20s and D8s and D12s. Some people don't have any of that and they don't even know what that means. That's cool. Don't worry about it. Use what you have. So if you have those D12s, those D20s, you have those RPG dice, you can grab those. But let's take a look around. Do we have any board games like Yahtzee or any other standard board games that have standard die, like the 6-sided one? Probably not Sorry, since it's inside a little case. Don't like break that open to get it out for your game today. But you can use those as well. We'll roll those just like we would an RPG die, and then like the higher number you get, the better you do. And you can add bonuses. If you're good at using magic and you're trying to cast a spell, then you're going to get a little bonus to add on. Hi everyone, just hopping in. We are gathering our supplies. Rishi, I do remember you. It is so good to see you, and I'm glad that you're able to join one of our Dungeonverse events. This one is online, so it's a little bit different. Just grab some pencil, grab some paper. We've got a PDF in there. I'll tell you what that means. But let's hop right into it. As far as what we're going to do, you can use those dice like I was telling you. You can use the D6s, but what if you don't have any of those? Grab a coin. You can flip a coin. And heads will mean success. And if you succeed, then great. Your action succeeds, but there might be a failure. If it's a really hard action, then we might have you roll like twice or something. So or not roll, but flip the coin twice and you have to get 2 heads in a row. Maybe you want to come up with some homebrew rules where if you do a coin flip behind your back and catch it in front of you and it's a success, then it's like a critical success. This is totally your thing. So make up the rules as we go. The rules are going to grow and evolve with us. But, okay, you don't have coins. If you do use coins, make sure to wash them, please. Coins touch a lot of people. Make sure to have someone wash them or wash your hands very thoroughly after you use them. Okay, so coins are going to work for us as well, but we might want to use a table. I just saw the table drop in the PDF. Thank you to everyone behind the scenes who helps out with the comments. Thank you to my wife, Miss Kaylee, who's off screen, but she helps out with all of the slideshow making. She helps me set up my room. She helps me like not hyperventilate before I get live with everyone. She is a great support, a great wife, and a great technical stage director. So I just got to give a shout out to her because I went through all of week 1 without doing that, and man, I wouldn't have done it without without her. So quick shout out to Kaylee and quick shout out to everyone behind the scenes. So let's take a look at this table. If you have a piece of paper, you can draw your own table. I am sorry for the glare. I'll try to angle it to where you don't see it. What you'll do is you'll draw this on a piece of paper, and what you'll fill it in with success with a bonus, success but some bad thing happens or something bad happens, a failure and something else bad happens, or a failure but something good happens. This creates a little bit of variability in our story. It allows you to create a random element. And what you'll do is you'll make this and you'll just toss it off while not looking, toss something onto it, and whatever that thing lands on, that will be the success of your action. So you might have a critical success, like up at the top, or a critical failure, like down at the bottom, where that's like, a critical success is not only did you hit the dragon with the bow and arrow, but you actually like pierced one of his scales and made him weaker. A critical failure is you tried to shoot the dragon, but you accidentally shot your arrow into your foot, and now you're hopping around and it hurts really bad. So you can make your own table like that, or you can print one off. We've got the PDF for you. So that's it. That's how we're going to play. There's an instructional video. If you're hopping in late and you just missed all of the instructions, there's an instructional video. It's 3.5 minutes. Take a quick look at it. You can hop in. But it's time for us to get started in our quest. Welcome to Into the Dungeonverse. I am going to pull up those slides for you, the PDFs that you have available. They look like, oh, there's a video that we're not using. Once the screen adjusts, you will see the PDF. Thank you, Mr. Justin, for posting that PDF in there. So the screen has to adjust to the brightness level of outside. You should be able to see our table, but maybe not. Perhaps it's a magic trick. No, I don't think it's going to show up. Well, here, I'll move it really close. Does that work? There we go. Awesome. So here's an example table. You can print off the blank one and fill it in with your own instructions that you want or your own results. But then there's also one where we already filled it in for you, so you don't have to do any more work than you want to. So I'll hold it there for like 5 more seconds because my wrist is starting to hurt. My laptop's very heavy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the next page. That was just another slide of it. All right, so let's take a look at what your character sheet might look like. If you want to create a character sheet, the first thing you're going to want to have is a name. Oh, man, this is going to be hard to see. We'll give it a minute to adjust, but I can walk you through it. Take your pencil and write your name up at the top. This is not your name necessarily, but the name of your character. And your character can have whatever kind of background you want. I'm going to tell you where you're actually starting, but your character can have whatever kind of background you want. Okay, so you'll write your name on there, probably right about here. And then over here, I want you to write hit points or HP. 20 out of 20, because that's going to be how many times your character can get hurt before they have to start their adventure over and see if they can escape the perilous plot that is set ahead of you. Also, man, I'm so sad that you can't see that, but that is all right. Let us switch to where our story begins. You are all each. You're not together at this moment, but there is a shared story. You find yourself swinging in a cage, hanging from the ceiling of this deep cavern. You've been traveling around for whatever reason you might have. Maybe you were an adventurer looking for fame. Maybe you were looking for those who needed help and assistance. Maybe you were out looking for a chance to make some money. Who knows why you were out adventuring in this brave and terrifying at times world? But you were captured by a force unknown. All you remember is darkness, a sudden pain in your head, and then you awoke, swinging from a cage. You can see that there are other cages hanging from the ceiling there, and here, and here. There appear to be other people in them, but they are sleeping. They have not yet awoken. Please write down your character's name. Write down their hit points, 20 out of 20, and tell me, or tell yourself, what are they doing? Are they looking for a way to get out? Are they trying to break the lock, bend the bars, pick the lock? How are they going to escape? Ah, someone wants money, that's why they were traveling around. And you thought you maybe found riches in a cave, but instead found your own demise. How do you escape? Perhaps you have a bone in your pocket like our friend Gorby from last week, and you attempt to pick the lock. This would be a medium difficulty. So if you're rolling d20s at home, let's make this a 15. You have to roll and get a 15 or higher. If you're flipping coins, you'll need to get heads at least twice to fully pick the lock. Perhaps you are a mage, a magician, a wizard, a spellcaster, and you're attempting to freeze the locks or do something else. This would also be of a medium difficulty. Cast on your table, flip your coins, roll your dice, and see, are you successful? Do you break the lock? Do you bend the bars? Do you find a spot where the cage is weak and you're able to escape? I will give you a moment to decide, but no longer. Just a short moment in time as your cage swings. You can see the cave floor deep below. Swing back and forth until the cage breaks from the rock. Some of you might be gaining momentum as you attempt to swing your cages. Oh, but then there is a rumble. Not just below you, not to the sides, not just above you, but all around the cavern. It shakes, and dust and small rocks and some larger rocks and stalactites fall from the ceiling, crashing into the ground. You can hear your cage chain link groan as it starts to lose its purchase in the ceiling. Ah, I see someone say 1 head and 1 tail for me. So perhaps you unlocked it, but you broke your chicken bone. If your action was half successful and half failure, tell me, what does that look like? Tell yourself. Did your character hurt their fingers? Your cage vibrates and it shifts as one of the chain links breaks. And you can see you're now at an odd angle. If you got your door open, you might have a chance to jump out. At this point, if you're bending the bars and you're successful, this might be a good time to do this before the cage falls and you plummet straight towards the cavern floor, where you crash and your cage splits apart, freeing you from your entrapment. But leaving you slightly bruised and sore. If you did not succeed in escaping your cage before it fell, if your block picking or your bar bending did not work, you are going to take 3 damage. So you'll subtract from your 20 hit points, you'll subtract 3, getting, I can't do simple math, so I need you to share. No, I'm kidding, I can't. But share in the comments if you have the correct answer. If you failed, what are your hit points at now? You find yourself on the cavern ground, collecting yourself, trying to get yourself back into the game. You're taking a look at your surroundings and you're unsure of where you are. I see someone sprained their wrist. Ooh, painful. Has anyone sprained their wrist in real life? Now, you can't see it on my screen, so I'm going to write it for you if I have a dry erase marker, which it doesn't look like I do. I don't have a dry erase marker. But that's okay. On your page, on your character sheet, I want you to take a moment. Let's see if I can get this to where you can see it. I want you to take a moment to record what has happened. What was the first event? What was the first threat or challenge you had to work through? Was it breaking out of a cage? Then write that down. What was your character's action? What did you try? What was your goal? And then finally write down what happened. This way you can go back and you can look at your story. I lost 3 hit points because I did not escape in time. Now, you might have seen a quick sneak peek. Someone did sprain their wrist in real life. It's not fun. sprained wrist in real life and in this. So now, there's a picture missing. I need to find it for us very quickly. Ah, okay. It's actually here. Down at the bottom of this cavern where you fell, there's a pile of items. These are maces and swords and shields and axes and magical staves and wands, bows and arrows, daggers, crossbows. Any weapon that you could imagine is laying there in a pile, waiting for someone to pick it. Ah, Mr. Vodder, Mr. Justin failed swinging his cage and lost 3 points. He's at 17 hit points. Let's hope he makes it through and doesn't have to start his journey over. Now that you are on the bottom, you need to choose your weapon. You may only pick one. In fact, if you try to grab one and then grab a second, the others will fade into the ground, disappearing from your reach. So on your character sheet, right under your name, I want you to write what your weapon that you're using is. Perhaps it's one of the weapons that I listed. Perhaps it's a weapon that you made up. Perhaps it's a weapon from another culture. You choose what it is, but write that down because you will use that. Ah, I saw guns in the comments. No guns. We are going to go with an era prior to gunpowder. So no gunpowder exists yet. But perhaps on your quest you will find one. So you see swords and whips, shields and maces, bows and arrows. What do you pick as you venture into the cave, as you try to find your way out of this treacherous cavern? The rumbling has faded, but you can hear the aftershocks and the tremors rippling through the tunnels. Let us continue on our quest. You enter a tunnel and you are walking for some time when suddenly a bat flies out towards you. It has fangs, sharp, just like the one in this image. And this bat is larger than what you see there. It's at least twice the size, and it is followed by the sound of much fluttering of wings. Ah, someone has a crossbow. Write that down on your character sheet, Rishi. Write that down so that way you know. Bob McBobberson. What do you do when the bats start to approach? Do you ready your weapon to strike at these flying mammals? Do you cast a spell? You could maybe make an image of something appear, perhaps a bright light. What is your action here? And then I will tell you what might happen for some different things. You can hear them getting closer. You're on edge. You're sore. Do you attack them? Do you hide? Do you try to pretend that you're a bat? That would be very hard. Think for a moment, and then I will guide you. Those who are just hopping in, check out the comments for a roll table. Check out the comments for a short video that explains the rules, but I will try to explain them as we go as well. Alright, I hope you have had time to figure out what you do as these bats flutter towards you. I hope you know if you strike at the bats. Let's see if you're successful. It's going to be hard to hit one of these bats. So it's a difficulty medium. So same thing as last time. 2 heads in a row to hit one of these bats. It's a D20, maybe above 15. If you're rolling D6s, let's roll 1d6 and you have to get above a 4. Let's roll on our tables and let's see, did you hit the bat? If you hit the bat or tried to hit the bat, it's going to bite you. And it's going to try to bite you back. I have a dice here, a D20. I'll roll and I'll see if it hits you. Ah, the bat misses you if it does try to bite you and it does not wound you. That's lucky. These bats have very sharp fangs and they look like they would have hurt. If you decided to hide or perhaps get low and not disturb the bats, then the bats are just going to pass you by. They'll fly over you. It'll take about 30 seconds before the whole colony of bats flies over you. So if you tried to avoid them, 2 heads in a row, so that means you definitely hit the bat. If you hit the bat, it's going to fly up against the wall. It's going to whimper and squeak and then fly away with everyone else after it tries to bite you and fails. If you cast a spell that created like fire or light, the bats are going to screech. And they're going to go around you and they're going to avoid you entirely, not trying to bite you, but maybe attacking your staff or whatever is making the light. Let's see if they break your staff. They rolled well. If you used your staff to create a light, they damaged it a little bit. And if it gets damaged again, it might break entirely. So make sure to mark that down on your character sheet. Rishi, I'm glad you feel good about hitting that bat. It ran away from you afterwards. So who was successful? Did you get past the bat unscathed? Did your staff get hurt? Did you hide and avoid it entirely? You continue moving on down the tunnel. You walk for some time. Your feet are tired. You're frightened. You hear noises in the dark that you don't know where they came from. And then you come out into a cavern where you see rushing water cascading down the rocks, creating this huge river that's just rushing through the place where you have to pass. How are you going to get across this river? The water is rushing like a white river rapid. Are you going to just try to ford the river, old Oregon West style? Are you going to try to jump from rock to rock? Maybe you're going to come up with a way to jump straight across or swing using some vines that you find. Can you find any vines in this cave? Why don't you roll to find out? Or flip a coin. How do you get across this river? If you don't have any of those, or you want to make it more active, can you stand on one foot with your arm straight out and balance a pencil or a pen on the edge like this? It's harder than you think. Can you stand on one foot, maybe with one or two fingers balancing a pencil and holding that out? Rishi is hungry in the game and in real life. You want to look around for some... Oh, someone is fording the river. If you're fording the river, this is going to be pretty hard. This is a 3 on hardness. So you have to get 3 heads in a row to get all the way across the river. However many heads you get will be how far you get across. DC is going to be 18 for this. I like Fjord. I like the way you spelled it first, Mr. Justin. So this is going to be hard to get across the river just pushing through, swinging on the vines. That's an inspired idea. If your character grabs something like maybe a bow or a crossbow, something ranged, go ahead and give yourself a plus to activities that require agility. And try to swing over that river. Do you try to swim through? Who tries to hop on the rocks? That's going to be a medium difficulty, hopping from rock to rock. And try to make your decisions based on your character, not on what I say is going to be easiest. And remember that you can make up your own rules and rolls for how that works. Cast on your table. See if you got across the river and what happened. If you failed crossing the river, you're going to fall in, you're going to bonk your head, you're going to hit it, and it's going to hurt. You're going to take another 4 damage. Oh, Mr. Walter fell in the river. Mr. Walter, you're going to take 4 damage now. So subtract that from your 20 or your 17 if you already got damaged. If you swung across on a vine and you fell, if you succeeded, then great, you landed on the other side. Anyone who went in the river, you are soaking wet, like down to the bone. Your socks are wet, your pants are wet. You are just soaked, and you feel heavy as you climb out of the water. And it takes a moment to let it all drip off, and for you to feel like you are ready to go. Oof, I see an oof. That means I'm thinking that someone, or they're commenting on my oof. That's a possibility as well. So did you get across the river? Did you make it through? Did you try to stop and catch a fish? Oh, Rishi didn't fall in the river. Oh no, another -4 from Mr. Justin. He might have to start over. See if he makes it through. You hear some noises as you get out of the river and you get ready to move on. As you exit the area with the river, the floor is wet. You see cavernous rocks above you. You can see them kind of hanging loosely from the ceiling in spots, dust falling. If you want to investigate those, you can. You can roll for that to see if you're successful. It'll be relatively easy. You can always try, and I'll tell you what you find out, maybe. If you didn't get in the river before, you're now upset, possibly. Ah, Rishi caught a fish. Rishi, you are no longer hungry if you eat that fish, but you might not want to eat it raw. You might not want to go Gollum style.
Or perhaps you like them raw and wriggly.
There's my little Smeagol impression for you there. As you're walking through this area, it seems as if there's nothing wrong. But if you investigated the boulders up at the top, you could tell that they could fall at any moment. And as you're walking through, a couple of the boulders are going to shift and plummet downward, falling straight toward where you are or around you. You're going to need to try to escape. If you saw this earlier, if you checked those rocks out and you succeeded, the difficulty is going to be 1, which just means 1 head on a coin toss, maybe a 12 on a d20 roll. For a 6, we'd call it a 3. Or maybe something even a little lower like a 2. So it'd be really hard to fail this one. But let's see. Do you dodge the boulder falling towards you? Do you make it out of the way? Do you try to hit the boulder with your weapon? Maybe one of you has a big old axe or a pickaxe and you're going to try to hit it. If you try to hit it, that's going to be a medium difficulty, but maybe something special will happen if you do hit it. Maybe you'll get something. Who knows? I'll give you a couple of minutes to decide what your actions will be. And I will roll for some things that you don't know about. This is always a fun thing to do.
Great Smeagol! Thank you, Mr. Water. Smeagol loves compliments. Any compliment that he gets. Really? You like Smeagol's hair? Do you like Smeagol's beard?
Thank you, Mr. Justin. I spent a lot of 6th grade practicing that. All right, let's see what happened with this tunnel. If you tried to hit the boulder or the rock and you were successful, well, something interesting is going to happen. When you hit it, it's going to shatter, and all these shiny little pieces of gems are going to come flying. There was an ore deposit. You hear a creature somewhere, apparently disturbed by the sound of the falling boulders. It sounds large, but you're not sure what it is. It's far away. If you hit that boulder and you were successful, you now have 3 gems. You can write those down. Make sure to record what's happening on your character sheet. What was the situation? What did you do? And then what was the result? What happened? Man, that is such a good Smeagol. Thank you, Rishi.
Thank you, thank you. Smeagol is flattered.
Okay, if you tried to dodge the boulder and you failed, you got hit. If you tried to hit the boulder and you failed, you also got hit. This one was bigger. You took 5 damage from this boulder. If you failed your action, 5 damage. If you tried to cast a spell to block it, maybe to freeze it or to blast it off course, that's a 2 difficulty as well. So 2 head flips. Alright, we're going to move on from here, but you could search around for anything if you wanted. There might be some mushrooms growing here and there. There might be moss or lichen or ivy. But after getting out of the boulder's way, you know that you need to get through this tunnel quickly before anything else happens. So there's our reminder. Update your scroll. Update your character sheet. What happened? First there were the bats. What'd you do? What was the result? Then there was the water. What'd you do? What was the result? Same thing. Rishi got gems. I mean, Rishi, you're doing really well. You being honest with your rolls. That's okay. We're all having fun. If you don't have any way to do rolls, just use your logic and storytelling abilities as well. There's no need for it to have to be rolls. I was successful even with me soggy bottoms. I love it. Even with me soggy bottoms. Okay, we're moving on. You enter this large cavernous area. It's huge. If anyone's ever seen Lord of the Rings, think the Mines of Moria, where it's this like almost a mile across, and there's these little cavernous, like cliff-like bridges between. You see this, and you see that there is a footpath along the edge. You have to go down and then back up, and it seems very safe. It's got rails, it's got ropes, but it seems like it would take a long time. That's that here. But there's also this kind of cool looking rickety-ish minecart. It's got some wheels and it's on a track and it goes over one of those cliff bridges straight across the cavern. So here's my question for you here. I'm going to make a poll for it, see if you guys can answer. Which way do you go? Are you going to take the long way around and go along the path with the rails and the ropes, or are you going to take the quicker way and use the minecart? The kind of rickety-ish minecart. I'm going to put that up there. Feel free to answer what you're doing. I'm publishing that, but also answer it on your sheet. I'm going to give you a moment to decide. What is your action here? What are you going to do? You hear the creak of wood as there's those railways all across. So which path do you take? Someone's going in the minecart. I figured you'd be going in the minecart. You just got gems. Aren't you like required to go in the minecart? Alright, if you decided to travel along the safe way, it takes a very long time. You have to go down step by step by step by step by step by step. And then when you finally get halfway there, you now have to climb all the way back up. But along the way, you found some mushrooms growing inside of the walls, in the little caverns, in the little nooks. Do you want to take one of those? Do you want to investigate it and see what it is? Maybe it's poisonous. Maybe it's nutritious. Maybe it's magical. Take a look. This is an easy difficulty to figure out. If you succeed, you will know that these are very energizing mushrooms, that they actually allow you to move more quickly, and they give you energy for at least a day. Let's see how many there are here. There are 14 mushrooms. Do you take them all, or do you leave some for others who might come along? Make your decision, those who travel along the safe route, those who travel along the stairs. What do you choose? Those of you getting in the minecart. This'll be fun. So you get in this rickety minecart and you can hear groan as you get in. But it seems pretty stable, and the wheels are latched to the tracks very well. You get on, and it starts going. And it starts going very quickly, and it starts plummeting down the track. You are going to need to succeed on a hard difficulty roll to not fall out before you reach the other side, or to dodge any of the many things that might be flying into your cart as you roll along. Let's see if you're successful. Are you? Do you succeed? Do you get through without hurting yourself? If you fail, you're going to take 4 damage. So if you failed every one right now, you're not looking great. You're pretty low on health. So if you fail your roll as you go through the minecart, you're going to get there super quickly in a matter of minutes, probably 2. But you're going to fly out of the cart at the end, and you're going to hit your head, or maybe you're going to sprain your wrist. Whatever happens, you take that damage. 4 more damage added on. And you continue trekking through this cave. Make sure to mark on your character sheet what happened with the minecart. What did you try? Did you take the easy path? What was the result? And as you go through the cave, things start to get brighter. as if there's light illuminating these cavernous halls from somewhere. And you continue to press forward. You continue to move on. And you're close. You can smell the air starting to get a little less damp, a little less dark. Continue moving through. Do you stop and look around? Or do you try to get out of here quickly? You've heard strange sounds of a large creature moving through. Do you stop and wait? Or do you hustle on through? Do you stop and wait or hustle through? Are you trying to get out of here as quickly as you can, or are you looking for any secrets that this place may hide? If you stop and look around, this is a very hard difficulty. But if you've been looking for stuff, you're going to definitely have a bonus to this. So if you're flipping a coin, maybe you get to reflip it if it's tails. Maybe you get one reflip. If you're rolling dice, add a higher number to it. If you stay and look around, you're going to find a chest nestled in one of the rocks right here. And the chest is unlocked. This chest has a small potion, a little glass vial. It's red, kind of like a bright cherry. No, Rishi, there were no gems in the minecart. You can eat when you cook that, or when you decide that you're comfortable with eating it raw and wriggling. Well, it's not wriggling now. It's been out of the water. If you stopped to get that chest, you now have a health potion. You can drink it and regain 5 hit points. You may save that for this episode, or you may save it for later as this quest continues. And let us move on. As you travel further down that tunnel, you see light. Finally, an opening in the ceiling. Do you rush towards it right away, just ready to escape? Do you wait and investigate your surroundings? What do? You see it. Is it too good to be true? The sunlight is almost blinding you, like just how it is in the image. It's almost doing that to you. You've been underground for you don't know how long. I see Mr. T hopping in. Mr. T, you're escaping a cave. Anyone hopping in, you're trying to escape a cave. Do you want to rush out as soon as you see an opening, or do you wait and scan things? If you scan things, it's going to be kind of easy to see. So roll, and if it's easy, if you succeed, you're going to see something that I will reveal to you now. If you went rushing toward the exit, you're going to be met by a slithering mass. Possibly. Give me just a second. Ah, yes. If you rush forward, you are met with the slithering mass here. It rushes out of that cavern, fangs as long as your arm. It is a massive serpentine beast. It must have been the thing that you were hearing as you walked through the caverns. Oh no, what are you going to do? If you waited and you saw this, you're going to see the snake in waiting. If you succeeded in looking around, you're going to see the snake in waiting. What do? Do you attack this snake? Do you turn around and run? Right before here, there was another path that you didn't take. Maybe that has an exit. Oh, what do you decide? The snake is bearing down on you with yellow eyes, its tongue flicking out. It sways back and forth. It's massive, reaching all the way up to the 20-foot tall ceiling. Slithers through the stalagmites on the ground, and it's coming closer to you, hissing. You can feel its hot breath coming out. If you attack it, this is going to be very, very hard. All right, that's 4 heads in a row. That's a 20 on your D20. That's a 12 on 2 D6s. That's a critical success, maybe, on your chart. Do you run? This will be a little bit easier, a medium difficulty. So 2 heads, or a 15 if you're rolling a d20, or perhaps a 6 on just one standard die. And let me tell you what happens. If you succeed in hitting this snake, you will not kill it. No, it is far too strong for you to kill at this point. But you will break one of its fangs, and it will reel, and it will have a moment that you see another exit, and you can escape, taking the fang with you as a trophy. You can now mark that in your inventory. You have a trophy. Put that on your character sheet. A snake fang. Perhaps it can be turned into a weapon. Perhaps it can be traded with a mystical creature. If you ran away and you succeeded, then you are going to get out to another entrance. But if you failed your attack, or you failed escaping, you are going to be bitten. You're going to be bitten and take 7 damage. You'll mark 7 off of your hit points. And if that is enough to take you down to 0, then you will awaken in a cage, swinging from a ceiling. And you can restart our adventure and try again. If you escaped the snake, if you succeeded in hitting it, and you survived its bite, and you ran away, you see the exit to a forest. It's beautiful, it's lush, it's green. You see tall trees, you can feel wind blowing, you can smell sunshine, the heat of the sunshine on the rocks. And you are free. You will have escaped the cave. Where will we go next week? What forest is this? What is in the forest? Is it friendly? Is it a fairy? Is it a fairy forest? Are there dragons? What's there? You'll have to find out tomorrow when you come back and continue this journey. If you're just tuning in here at the end, hop right back to the beginning, get a pencil and paper, and join us on this quest. This was the first episode of Questing in the Dungeonverse from Into the Dungeonverse. I want to thank you all for joining us, and thank you for being here today. It was fantastic to have you, and I loved trying out this new way to do roleplay at home. Share your rules. Tell us what you did. Share your character sheet with your results, and don't forget to record. Maybe you want to go through and you want to try it all again. That's fine. You can do that. It's your story that we're telling together. So before I leave you today, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to some real, inspired learning. This is for everyone. This is for anyone who wants it. I want you to remember to always pursue your passion until it becomes your talent. It's what I did with role-playing. I pursued my passion, and now it's, I hope, for you, become a talent. I look forward to seeing you again on Into the Dungeonverse. I'm really excited to continue this adventure. Someone uses their health potion. Does it save them from the snake? We'll see. Find out what's in the forest next time on Into the Dungeonverse. Up next is Mr. Walter. He will be hanging out with Around the World with Mr. Walter, followed by Mr. Dorian, a lesson from the vault after that, and then, of course, our wrap-up with CEO Ben Cook. Thank you all for being here at newminds.tv. Welcome to the quest.